Referees have the power to shape the outcome of a game, but at times, they too can slip up. From mistaken identity to split-second errors, these shocking blunders left players, fans, and even the officials scratching their heads. In this video, we'll take a look at 10 moments in football where referees got confused and sent off the wrong player. Starting the list with a famous incident. In one of the most bizarre moments in Premier League history, which took place on March 22, 2014, the match between Chelsea and Arsenal featured a case of mistaken identity that left many scratching their heads. In the 16th minute, Arsenal midfielder Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain deliberately handled a shot from Eden Hazard to prevent a potential goal. However, referee Andre Mariner mistakenly showed the red card to Kieran Gibbs, Chamberlain's teammate, despite the midfielder admitting to the handball. If you look closely, you can even see Gibbs standing in front of Chamberlain during the incident. With understandable anger, the defender left the pitch. After reviewing the situation, the Football Association intervened, rescinding Gibbs's red card. The FA also confirmed that Chamberlain's action didn't warrant a dismissal, as Hazard's shot appeared to be going wide. Both players were cleared of any suspension and were available for Arsenal's next match against Swansea City. Chelsea went on to trash Arsenal with a 6-0 victory, giving Wenger a hard time in his 1000th match for the Gunners. Chamberlain later described the incident as his most embarrassing moment in football. He tried to correct the referee, but Mariner stood firm in his decision. This strange incident highlighted the growing need for review systems to prevent such costly mistakes in the future. And while that infamous mistake remains unforgettable, another shocking case occurred in Mexico, where a referee mistakenly sent off the wrong player. In the Copa MX match between Santos Laguna and Pumas UNAM on January 22, 2020, a major refereeing error led to significant controversy and a false red card. Around 12 minutes into the match, Pumas goalkeeper Jose Castillo failed to intercept a cross, leaving his goal exposed. Forward Martín Barragán handled the ball inside the penalty area to prevent a goal, prompting referee Brian Gonzalez to award a penalty. However, Gonzalez mistakenly issued a red card to Pumas' Jesús Rivas, who was not involved in the incident. If you look closely, Rivas wasn't even standing near the event. Despite protests from the Pumas players, the referee upheld his decision. Rivas left the field in tears, and the match continued without the use of VAR, as Copa MX did not implement the technology at the time. Pumas went on to lose the match with 4-2, which only intensified their anger. After a review of the incident, it was determined that Rivas had been wrongly expelled. The red card was rescinded, and he was eligible to play in the return leg of the tie. However, Barragán, who had committed the actual handball, was given a one-match suspension. In the return leg on January 29, 2020, Santos Laguna triumphed with a 5-4 aggregate score, advancing to the next round. However, this incident highlighted the challenges of officiating without the video assistant referee, and fueled discussions on the need for technological assistance to ensure accurate decisions, especially in high-stakes matches. And just a few years earlier in the French League, another mistaken identity caused huge controversy. In the Ligue 1 clash between Lille and Troyes on October 14, 2017, a significant refereeing blunder led to a false red card that marred the final moments of the match. In stoppage time, referee Hakim Ben El Hadj awarded a penalty to Troyes for a foul committed by Ibrahim Amadou on Adama Dion. However, in a case of mistaken identity, the referee mistakenly issued a red card to Edgar, another Lille player, who was near the incident but had no involvement in the foul. The referee could have easily differentiated the two players had he noticed Amadou's captain armband. Despite protests from Amadou, who attempted to clarify the mistake, the referee upheld his decision, resulting in E's expulsion. This created confusion and frustration for Lille, as the team was left to finish the match with 10 men and conceded the 2-2 draw from the subsequent penalty. The incident also sparked wider debate about the pressures referees face in high-stakes situations and how such errors can have lasting consequences for the players and teams involved. Following the match, the disciplinary commission reviewed the incident and acknowledged the mistake. The red card was rescinded, and the Portuguese defender was cleared to play in the following match against Stade Rennes. However, Amadou, who was the actual offender, still had to serve a suspension for his foul. At that time, VAR was not yet used in the French League, but it was introduced just a season later. Similarly, 2 years earlier in the Premier League, another referee mix-up led to a major mistake that left fans speechless. On February 28, 2015, A bizarre case of mistaken identity unfolded during a Premier League match between Manchester United and Sunderland at Old Trafford. In the 64th minute, Sunderland's John O'Shea fouled Falcao inside the penalty box, pulling him back. However, referee Roger East mistakenly sent off English defender Wes Brown instead of O'Shea. Despite O'Shea admitting to the foul, the referee remained firm in his decision, leaving Brown visibly confused as he was forced to leave the pitch, and Sunderland was reduced to 10 men. The Red Devils capitalized on the mistake, with Wayne Rooney converting the resulting penalty, and they went on to win the match with 2-0. The Football Association later reviewed the incident and rescinded Brown's red card, confirming the error. O'Shea was not punished, and Sunderland avoided further consequences. The incident sparked widespread criticism, with many calling it one of the worst refereeing blunders in Premier League history. But the PGMOL defended the referee, explaining that East believed that both players were involved in the foul and mistakenly sent off Brown as the primary offender. Despite the confusion, Manchester United secured the victory, but the incident left fans and pundits shaking their heads at the costly error. Just weeks after this incident, the same scenario occurred again in the Premier League. On March 21, 2015, a case of mistaken identity took place during a match between Manchester City and West Bromwich Albion. Early in the game, Wilfried Boney was fouled near the penalty area by Craig Dawson. However, referee Neil Swarbrick mistakenly issued a red card to Gareth McAuley instead of Dawson, who was the actual offender. What likely contributed to the confusion was the fact that McAuley attempted to tackle Boney after Dawson's foul. Reduced to 10 men, West Brom could not hold off Manchester City, who went on to win with 3-0. This incident came just weeks after a similar error that we have just discussed. The referee apologized for his mistake, and the PGMOL confirmed it was a case of mistaken identity. The Football Association's Independent Regulatory Commission later transferred the red card to Dawson, who served a one-match suspension, missing their next game against Queen's Park Rangers. West Brom manager Tony Pulis expressed his frustration and called for the introduction of video technology to help referees make more accurate decisions. This incident highlighted the challenges of officiating and sparked renewed discussions about the use of technology like the VAR to prevent such errors in the future. Much like the previous Premier League errors, the following incident in Brazil highlights the importance of the video assistant referee. In the intense Corinthians vs Palmeiras derby on February 23, 2017, a major refereeing error marred the match, leading to a false red card for Corinthians midfielder Gabriel. In the 45th minute, Gabriel was shown a red card for a foul he did not commit on Palmeiras' Keno. The mistake occurred after Keno was fouled by Maicon, but referee Thiago Duarte Peixoto mistakenly issued the card to Gabriel, who had already been booked earlier in the match. What's even more absurd is that Gabriel was not involved in the incident in any way. The controversial decision led to an uproar from Corinthians players, who protested vehemently, with Maicon even admitting to the foul in an attempt to clear Gabriel's name. Despite being down to 10 men, Corinthians triumphed with 1-0, thanks to a late goal from Joe. Following the incident, the TJD of Sao Paulo reviewed the case, acknowledging the mistake, and annulling both Gabriel's yellow and red cards. Referee Peixoto was suspended for 60 days, and he later explained that he had acted on the information available to him at the time, without clear guidance from his assistants. However, the annulment of Gabriel's yellow and red card came too late, as he had already served a suspension for accumulated yellow cards. The introduction of VAR, which took place in 2019, would have been very useful in this case. If we turn the clock back by just 1 year, we will find another controversial refereeing decision. On February 7, 2016, a Serie A match between Napoli and Carpi was marred by a significant refereeing error, involving mistaken identity. The match, which ended with a 1-0 victory for Napoli, featured a pivotal incident in the 56th minute that changed the course of the game. Carpi midfielder Raffaele Bianco was shown a second yellow card and sent off after committing a foul. However, it quickly became apparent that Bianco was not the player at fault. The foul had actually been committed by his teammate, Christian Zaccardo, who had not been booked at that time. Zaccardo attempted to inform the referee of the error, but despite his protests, Bianco's red card was not overturned, leaving Carpi with 10 men. The game's momentum shifted in Napoli's favor as they capitalized on the numerical advantage. The decisive moment came when Carpi's Fabio D'Aprila fouled Koulibaly in the penalty area, leading to a penalty. Gonzalo Higuaín stepped up and converted the penalty, securing the win for his side. Despite protests from Carpi, the decision to send off Bianco was upheld, and he served a one-match suspension. Ultimately, while Napoli celebrated the victory, the incident was a reminder of how much impact a mistake like this can have on a match. But not even the Champions League is unaffected by such mistakes. In the goalless Champions League match between Celtic and Aalborg on September 17, 2008, a significant refereeing error led to a case of mistaken identity that had major implications for Aalborg's defense. In the 79th minute, Celtic's Giorgio Samaras was fouled just outside the penalty area, and referee Matteo Trefaloni mistakenly issued a red card to Aalborg defender Michael Beauchamp. However, the foul was actually committed by Beauchamp's teammate, Michael Jakobsen. Beauchamp, who was not involved in the incident, was left disappointed and confused by the decision. Aalborg's manager, Bruce Ryak, acknowledged the mistake after the match, explaining that the officials had become caught up in the confusion, which led to the wrong player being sent off. Despite the controversial red card, the match ended in a goalless draw, with both teams unable to break the deadlock. Following the match, UEFA reviewed the incident and rescinded Beauchamp's red card, recognizing it as a case of mistaken identity. Instead, Jakobsen, who had actually committed the foul, was handed a one-match suspension, ruling him out of Aalborg's upcoming Champions League fixture against Man United on September 30, 2008. This incident highlighted the challenges referees face in fast-paced matches and underscored the importance of post-match reviews and accurate decision-making to ensure fairness on the field. Moving on to the fourth English incident in this video. In a League One clash on January 24, 2023, Bolton Wanderers secured a 1-0 victory over Forest Green Rovers. However, the game was marred by a significant refereeing error in the 28th minute. During a confrontation between Bolton's Elias Kachunga and Forest Green's Brandon Cooper, Kachunga appeared to lash out and punch the defender, but referee Tom Neild mistakenly issued a red card to Dion Charles for violent conduct. Charles, who was standing nearby, was not involved in the incident. Bolton quickly appealed the decision, and after a review, the Football Association overturned the red card, rescinding Charles's three-match suspension. However, the suspension was transferred to Kachunga, the actual offender. Bolton manager Ian Evatt expressed regret over Kachunga's actions, emphasizing that it was out of character and revealing that the Congolese had been dealing with personal issues. The incident shed light on the importance of post-match review systems to correct such mistakes. While the video assistant is used in the Premier League and some cup competitions, it is not yet implemented in lower English leagues, which made it impossible to review the incident during the match. Ending the list with another mistaken identity that took place in France. In the League One match between Valenciennes FC and Toulouse on August 10, 2013, a significant refereeing error led to a case of mistaken identity and an unjust red card. In the 37th minute, Toulouse defender Uroš Spajić was sent off by referee Stefan Joachim, who mistakenly believed that Spajić had committed a foul in the penalty area. However, it was actually his teammate, Steve Yago, who was responsible for the foul. What is particularly baffling is that Joachim initially showed the red card to the correct player, but changed his mind after consulting with the assistant referees. Despite protests from Toulouse players, the Serbian was sent off, leaving his team with 10 men. The match ended in a heavy 3-0 defeat for Toulouse, with Valenciennes taking full advantage of the numerical advantage. The referee later acknowledged the error in his supplementary report, clarifying that Yago had been the offender. In response, the LFP Disciplinary Commission annulled Spajic's red card, clearing him to play in Toulouse's next match against Bordeaux. However, Yago, who was the actual culprit, was summoned to appear before the Disciplinary Commission. After a review, the Burkinabe was handed a two-match suspension. And that wraps up our list of some of the craziest cases of mistaken identity in football. It's wild how these mistakes can change the whole outcome of a match. Hopefully, with technology like VAR, we won't see too many more of these. Let us know in the comments if you know of any other incidents related to this topic. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more football content. Out of Play says goodbye.